Hello everyone and welcome. If you're new to my channel, then welcome to Life in Notions. My name is Christine and today in this video I am going to be tackling the decluttering of the papers category in terms of the KonMari method. So this is my study, and as you can see we have a really large built-in bookcase with cupboards and drawers, and over here this is the desk that I work at, and so I will show you how we have our paperwork organised. I'll just move this out of the way. So in this drawer here, this is where we have various things organised, and you can see there's very little in here. Lots of these are actually empty, and there's lots of space at the back there as well. And then directly behind me, in this cupboard at the end here, this is where we keep the rest of our paperwork, and all of this paperwork is organised into labelled box files. So I'm going to pull everything out and start going through everything. So as you can see, I've pulled everything out of the study and onto the kitchen table. Now because the box files and the slings are already organised into categories, I'm going to tackle each one in turn. The papers category is a little bit different from the rest of the KonMari method because paperwork doesn't really spark joy, at least not for most of us. And it's more a case of looking at what is strictly necessary and what isn't. So as I empty each box file and assess what the contents are of the box file, what I'm really looking for, instead of what sparks joy, it's really what is necessary and what isn't. So let's begin. So in no particular order, I just grabbed the top box file. This happens to be our folder full of research for whenever we come to renovate the kitchen. We've spoken to so many companies, and these are the brochures from a lot of the companies that we've had come and survey the kitchen, give us quotes and things. So I'm just going to empty out the contents, see what I've got and what I'd like to hang on to and what I'm going to let go of. Alright, so that's everything out of the box, and I'm going to pick out the things that I definitely want to keep first. Alright, so I picked out everything that I'd like to keep, and the rest can go. These are actually some samples of vinyl tiles which look exactly like natural stone. They're actually very, very lifelike. It's not the direction that we'd like to go in those, so I'm going to actually keep these but put them in my crafts room and see if I can't incorporate them into some future project. So this is the pile of brochures and things that I'm not going to keep. And here you can see I don't have a lot in this folder anymore, so these are all the bits and pieces that I do want to keep and which will be going back into the study. The next box file is all the paperwork to do with our animals. We have 2 dogs and a cat, and they've each got their own little folder. So the information that's in here is a variety of things ranging from insurance papers to microchipping information, vet bills and things like that, and pedigree papers, all that sort of stuff. So what I'm going to do is go through each of the folders and see if there's anything that I don't need to hang on to. Okay, so I've gone through all of the pet folder. I've now got only the necessary and up-to-date paperwork for them, and then I'm getting rid of this whole pile of previous pet insurance claims and policies and anything like that that I no longer need to hang on to. This box file is the first of 3 which contain all of the manuals for everything in the house. We've gone digital where possible, but because this house and a lot of the things in it and a lot of things we brought with us when we bought this house are very, very old, we're not able to find everything online. So let's see what we've got and what I can let go of. I will say though that we're quite organised, you know, all of our manuals are organised into individual Polly Pockets, and each of them is labelled. I make the labels using my label maker, so it's really easy to find everything and see what we've got and what we need, and each of the box files are organised in terms of different things. So this one is electronics, technology, that sort of thing. So laptops, cameras, things like that. I'm not going to keep that, that's for a very old laptop. In this folder, the only thing is I've got my new Instant Pot information here, and I actually think it's handier because it's so new. We're learning how to use it to look at the manual rather than bring it up online. So I'm actually going to keep this paperwork, and I'm just going to get my label maker and create a label for this Polly Pocket. Okay, so I have created a little label for this Polly Pocket so I know what's in here. And that is this box file complete. And if you don't have a label maker, by the way, consider getting one because it's just a small little thing, but it's so handy. I really like this for keeping everything nice and organized and easy to find. So the next box file is also manuals, and this one is larger appliances. So I'm just going to pull everything out. Nothing to pull out of this one, so I'm just going to put it this way. So this is the third and last of the box files containing manuals, and this actually has some bits and pieces for the showers because we keep them together with the paperwork for the showers, you know, with all the product numbers and things like that if we need to replace anything, because we've had to replace our showers quite recently. Alright, so that's everything in that file. Because I went through all of our paperwork last year, first time we did the KonMari Method, and let me tell you, that was a totally different kettle of fish because we had so much paperwork all over the house, and it took a long time just finding it all because it was in random places throughout our home, everywhere, totally disorganized, never knew where anything was, could never find anything, and it was all the important things were mixed in with just rubbish. So this is totally different, but because we put in all that work last year of weeding out all the paperwork that was actually clutter and really refining what we were keeping and then organizing it properly, this is going 1,000, 10,000 times faster than last year. So if you're doing the KonMari Method for the very first time and you're watching this thinking there's no way that your paperwork is going to go as quickly as this, don't give up, because it was nothing like this for us the first time, and the only reason I'm getting through it so quickly now is just because we put in all the work last year. This box file is research for our bedroom makeover. If you've been watching my channel, then you'll know we've been working on redecorating the bedroom. And we have made some lovely changes, and I will do an update video at some point, but we've actually hit a few bumps in the road, so there's been a delay on completing things there. So in this folder I have different samples of all sorts of things. And this is how I like to do my research. Whenever I begin a project, I like to gather all the information together and study it well before I make any decisions. So I don't need this. And in actual fact, let's see. So these are little wooden samples to pick the colour of the bed, but we have the bed now, so I think what I might do is put these in the crafts room. Something to play with later. Then I've got a couple of samples of the wallpaper, which is all completed, so I don't need that. This is a sample book of Dupion silk because we were looking at getting this company to make us some curtains. And these are samples of the lining material that that company provide when they make your curtains. So I'll hang on to those for now. I need that. And I'm going to let go of all of these because we now have the bed that we ordered from this company, so I don't need these anymore. And in actual fact, I think what I might do, this is actually paperwork for the bedroom furniture. I'm going to put these in a Polly Pocket in one of the manuals folder just because it makes more sense than a research folder. Alright, so that's this box file gone through as well, and the only things remaining in here are the samples to do with the curtains. This next box file is printed off or handwritten recipes. So let's see what we've got. This is a piece of paperwork for furniture. I don't know why it's in here, but I'm going to put it in the right place. So in this folder we have Tim's collection of recipes. Some of these are from friends, some of these are from his mother. I've also got some recipes from my mother, handwritten in here as well. So we'll be hanging on to all of these, I think. Yes, we're going to hang on to all of those. And then I've got a little Polly Pocket full of takeaway menus. We hardly ever order takeaway, but at least when we want to, we know where to find the menus for everything. And then this is just a few pages from an ebook recipe book, which I really love. It's by the Domestic Geek here on YouTube. If you don't know her channel, you should absolutely check it out. She does amazing recipes, loads of meal prep videos, all sorts of things, and the ebook is fantastic. This is a box file labeled financial, but actually it is empty. And this is a box file labeled property, and this is to do with, you know, the house purchase, paperwork, all that sort of thing. Okay, so that's all the box files gone through already. So this is taking no time. Next, I have all of the slings from the filing drawer in the desk, so I'm just going to see what's in them. Absolutely everything. There are certain folders here you'll see that I just flick through very quickly because I can see from the top date whether or not they're current, and everything behind it will have been gone through last year. So I'm happy that that's all now in order. So I'm just going to put everything back and I'll show you what it looks like once it's all back in the study. Alright, so here is all the paperwork put back where it belongs. So here are all the slings of everything, and these tend to be insurances, car documentation, tax things, pension, that sort of thing. And then here are the box files of the bigger categories. Okay, so that's absolutely everything. I pulled out all the paperwork, I've gone through it all, I've pulled out a lot of things that I don't believe are necessary anymore or relevant, and I'm going to let go of those things. And everything that we're keeping is organized and back where it belongs. And the beauty of having the box file systems as well as the filing drawer is that everything's labeled, so it's super quick and easy to find what we're looking for. And I know there'll be a lot of people watching this video who will think that we don't need to hang on to as many manuals as we have. And you're probably right, although I will say that the majority of the manuals that we're holding on to are for older appliances, older systems and products, and the manuals are not easily available online if they're available at all. And we do have a few manuals for more modern things like the Instant Pot, just because they're newer, and personally I find it easier to just pull out a booklet and find what I'm looking for than to spend ages online trying to get exactly what I'm looking for. In some cases, yes, you can find what you're looking for very quickly. In others though, especially when you've got your paperwork organized, it's so much easier to, when you know where it is, to just pull it out and have a quick look at it and find the answer you're looking for. So we'll be hanging on to all those manuals for the time being, and as things are replaced over the years, of course, we'll be letting go of the things that are no longer relevant. But for now, this is all the paperwork for our entire home. Everything is in its place and organized, easily accessible, up to date, and I'm personally very happy with how it went today because it really didn't take me much time at all. Last year when we did this category, it was a complete nightmare because we had paperwork scattered throughout the house. We had so much clutter in amongst the important documentation that we actually ended up discarding over 10 huge refuse sacks. So it just goes to show that if you're in a situation like we were last year where you have mountains of paperwork and you don't know where anything is, or if it's up to date or whatever, it is absolutely 100% worth your time to go through it all very, very carefully and pick out exactly what you need and discard everything else, because when you're left with just the crucial information that you need, you can actually access it and organize it so much easier. So that's the stage that we're at the moment. So once you've decluttered your paperwork, it is so important to stay on top of that, because we receive paperwork every single day and it has to be dealt with immediately, otherwise it will just build up again. You'll end up in the same situation you were before you decluttered. So what we do is, as post comes through the letterbox every day, we have a very specific area of the kitchen counter where it sits, and it has to be actioned the same day. And that means it either needs to be actioned and then filed away, or discarded, recycled, shredded. Whatever needs to happen to that piece of paper, it needs to happen the same day it comes through the door. And that way we're able to stay on top of everything and never build up the clutter to anywhere near the degree that it was before we decluttered our home the first time. I'm really glad I did this because actually, once again, I found a lot more things to let go of than I expected. And that's been the theme for this entire series of me going through the KonMari method for the second time. It happened in clothing. It was more expected in makeup, I have to admit. Books, I was quite surprised to pull out as many as I did. And today with papers, you'll see I did pick out quite a lot of things to get rid of as well. So I'm finding it extremely worthwhile going through the KonMari method for the second time. The next category is the all-encompassing giant category of Komano. So I think I may do it in the same sort of order that I did it last year. So I will probably tackle the kitchen in its entirety as one big subcategory, and so we will see. I may change my mind about that and do something else first. We will see what time allows. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today and watching this video. I really hope you got something out of it. I'm sorry that it wasn't a more exciting and fun video, but I'm afraid that's really just the nature of the papers category. It's just not that fun a category to deal with. So watch out for our upcoming videos, and if you haven't already seen our previous KonMari decluttering and reorganizing videos, there'll be a playlist full of them in the description box down below, so please check them out. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a splendid day, and we'll see you in our next video.